Dr. Moshe Lewis, Music and Medicine. Delighted here to be with Cisco Reyes, a rising star, and you've done a lot in the acting world. So I wanted to kind of roll back the clock a little bit and go back to sort of growing up in that education you got in film and the arts in Baltimore and the Maryland area and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that and before Next Day Air, before the movies that we know you from.
Right. Yeah, so I went to, from New York, I was in John Jay High School, and I always thought the theater people were weird. You know,
Honest.
like everybody doing West Side Story and South Pacific and all that. I was like, I would write my own, like, in living color type sketches and put them up on stage. And then I went to Morgan State University in Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore. Yeah, I started the film program, and I was like, this is where I want to be. And I didn't know whether it was in front or behind, so I learned everything. I learned how to direct, do camera, sound, edit. And then one day I got in front of the camera and I was like, ooh,
Wait a minute.
it's kind of fun.
Who's that guy?
You know, or I was directing, I'd be like, nah, do it like this, and just get out the way. So I started doing indie films around Baltimore, going back and forth to New York when I graduated. But I knew ultimately I was gonna come out here and, you know, try to take my stab at it.
Sure. And how did you go about doing it? Because so many people have that dream. They want to come here, they want to find their way. What was your sort of secret sauce that allowed you to start getting some roles?
Paying your dues. You know, a lot of actors want you to believe that they just ended up on that show, and all of a sudden, you know, now they're famous. I did extra work.
Sure.
I did stand-in work. I did everything. Audience work, I did it all.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because to all your friends back home, they might catch a glimpse of you and they'd be like, yo, you made it. I'll be like, nah.
Exactly, that's not it.
Like, I'm trying to get an Oscar out here. They're like, what are you talking about? And eventually you gotta stop doing that kind of stuff if you want to be considered to be on that show. So, you know, I just got myself an agent. You know, I pounded the ground. I used to just walk in places that said production and be like, you guys take headshots? you know, casting, just giving them no phone calls, no visits. They'd be like, no phone. I was like, I'm here now. You know, straight New York hustler on it,
Exactly.
you know.
Every
I did not care. I used to crash auditions and I used to book them, and they'd be like, really? It's like, so I paid my dues, man, and you know, I was the shameless self-promoter, you know.
Sure, gotta be.
So that's what you got to do. You got to take what God give you, and just pound the pavement, you know.
Absolutely. It's become a cult classic. Talk to us about sort of your big break, but also that relationship with Next Day Air, because that's what so many of us remember you from.
Yeah, it's crazy because when Next Day Air came out, it was blockbuster season, and so the week before, I believe Wolverine came out. The same weekend, Star Trek came out. And then next weekend it was like Transformers, Terminator. So we got lost in that sauce while we were in the theaters. But all of a sudden, now that it's online, it's hitting different channels, HBO and Stars and all that stuff. It's like everybody's like, oh man. Even years later, they're like, man, I just saw it. I was like, really, for the first time? You know. I knew Benny Boom, and I knew a bunch of different other people that kind of campaign like, yo, you should see Cisco. They're like, really? He can act? You know?
Right.
I was like, damn.
Thanks.
You know? But I went in there and I made sure that I gave it my all. And because the role spoke to me, you know, Puerto Rican dude from the East Coast, you know? I was like, this is mine.
Right,
you know?
I got it.
And then I didn't hear anything. I was like, for 2 weeks, but I kept on reading the script over and over and over and over again. And finally, they called and was like, hey, we'd like you to come in and read with the women. But they didn't say I had the part.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Every actress I read with is gonna be a different read.
Sure.
And I didn't have my script, and I just kept on killing them with different stuff. And I'd ask the actress, hey, is it okay? Like, what are my boundaries? You know, like what if I smack you, if I kiss you? They're like, no. They were all like, yeah, cool. You know, and so, you know, and I did something different every time. Anyway, I'll never forget. I took the script out of one girl's hand because it was just the line. I was like, you know, F those eggs. And I took her script. I was like, she was like, I said, oh, yeah. She's like, F you, Jesus. I was like, you didn't know that line? She didn't get the part. But, you know, at the end, they were like, hey, we love what you're doing. We just want to let you know you're not doing it for nothing. And you got the role. I was like,
Nice.
oh, thank you, Jesus.
Oh, of course.
And that's the name of the character. Thank you, Jesus.
Absolutely. Who were some of the people in that movie?
Oh man, Darius McCrary, who was very, generous in his acting tips on that. Donald Faison, Debbie Allen,
Yes.
Lord London, Mos Def,
Yep.
Omari Hardwick, which became Ghost from Power.
Yes.
Man, Emilio Rivera, talented dude. Lots of talented people, man. It was such a pleasure to be on that set. Yasmin Delise, that was her first movie.
Right.
Worked with her like a gang of times, and was like, yo, you better take this serious. It's gonna blow. She's like, really? Yeah, whatever, Cisco. But yeah, it was such a blessing to be on that set, and just even offset. Oh, Mike Epps, I'm forgetting about Mike Epps is in it. Yeah, and we would just be clowning off screen and on screen, and you name it. Benny would give us 3 takes. One would be stick to the script. One, he would give us some direction of his own, and then the third, he'd let us just ride.
Nice.
Do what we wanted. And
Right.
most of those clips in the movie is what I did on the 3rd take.
Right. That's what made it. So
Yeah.
good to have some, liberality and stuff like that. Talk to us about some of the other roles that you've enjoyed playing, even if they add to diversity or not in your background.
Oh man, I did this one film that took forever, like feels like 5 years to make. This French director called named Kader. He came over here and he wanted to make like a crime thriller. An American one. He wanted to say to the French people, I can make an American movie.
Right.
So he rolled right up into Christian Audiger's office and was like, I want to make a movie. Can you help me? And he was like, yeah, sure. He's like, actually, I want to be an actor. And so the movie's called 513. And Kader would say, Cisco, one day we are going to be at Cannes. We are going to be on the red carpet in Cannes. I was like, really? Okay, cool. I believe you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And sure enough, 2013 and 2014, we were in the Cannes Film Festival, and it was a beautiful thing, man. And France, I never wanted to go to Europe, to be honest with you. I'm Caribbean, I'm Puerto Rican and Trinidadian.
Right,
I was like, I take a vacation. I want to see clear water, sandy beaches,
beach.
palm trees, But then I got out there and I saw sandy beaches, clear water, and palm trees. I was like, whoa, south of France is beautiful.
Exactly, yeah. There's a
And
reason.
we out there with Tom Sizemore, Bokeem Woodbine, Gary Dourdan, everybody. Gary. I knew where the sweet spot. It was right next to Gary. Hey, man, James Russo, so many talented people, man. Got to do a whole French promotional tour over there.
Sure.
Do the carpet out there. It's huge. 200 photographers on that side, 200 on that. They announcing your name, Cisco Reyes. I was like, that's me. I mean, it was just such an exhilarating feeling. 513. Everybody Hates Chris was a lot of fun to work with Tashina Arnold.
Yes.
Did a couple of episodes of that, robbing them on the train, robbed little Chris on the train, robbed her on the train.
Came back.
Right. And the comedy, Art Evans, he was in the scene. It was so great to banter with Tashina over the art back, and Chicago PD, getting to go to Chicago for the first time. I had a son on a Sunday, and by 4 a.m. I was on my way Monday to Chicago.
Wow.
So, she always said, his mother always says, you missed the first 10 days of his life. I'm like, I came back with the bag.
Make the rest of the days possible.
Right. So, but yeah, a lot of great shows, CSIs, CSI New York, CSI Miami, House Divided,
Right.
With Lawrence Hill Jacob, Lisa Ray.
Yes.
That was a fun, Demetria McKinley, lots of talented people on that. Man, it's so many different numbers with Tay Diggs. No, that's Daybreak. Alimi Ballard's on numbers. But, a lot of great shows. But I feel like I'm still not there. Just had a couple movies, just won a Hopper Award.
I was just talking about that.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. For Best Actor in an independent feature, which was Picture Me Dead. Worked with my buddy Malik Whitfield, and I've done a gang of different stuff with him. Such a talent. He played Otis Matter of fact, when
Right.
he said
Exactly.
Otis,
You're like,
he played Otis in the
right,
Temptations.
right.
And yeah, just being in this industry and getting to work with the people that you admire from before you got out here. Now I'm like, wow, I'm here, and then they're just regular people, and
Right.
you can call them friends, you know, and it's such a you can learn from them, and it's just such a blessing, such a
Absolutely.
blessing.
Sure. What is that secret sauce or talent that you feel you really try to bring to some of the roles or look for in some of the scripts that you get?
It's gonna challenge me. I want to be challenged. You know, sometimes a casting director will say, you know, there'll be 3 scenes, pick one. I pick the one that's the longest. You know, I want to give me something I can sink my chops into. I want to bring, you know, that originality. I want to bring a lot of myself to the character. I don't want to play the same thing over. But if I do, if it's a similar role, I'm going to make them different. I want to make them different. And I want you to stop seeing, oh, that's not Cisco anymore.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, I'm big on training. I went to the Beverly Hills Playhouse and trained under Richard Lawson, Gary Imhoff, and the founder. And that gave me a lot of ammunition to put in my back pocket. A lot of people come out here because, you know, they got natural talent, right?
Sure.
And they try to go off of that natural talent forever, you know, opposed to getting some good training. And it wasn't until that I was like, wow, man, I wasn't even acting before.
Right. That's
you know?
I was just playing around.
Yeah, I was just playing around. Now I can do this damn thing, you know? But I definitely want to bring originality to my characters, and I want to just be challenged. I want to make you feel something. I want to impinge. I want to make you cry. I want you to get mad at me, you know? I want you to be yelling at that screen, you know?
Exactly.
I want you to feel something.
Right. I love that. I love it. No, that's so important. You've hit on something that's such an underlying element here, which is the danger of being typecast and the dangers of doing the same thing for a long time. To what extent do you feel you've tried to not only take on different roles, but also take on like different, let's say, projects? So I know you've moved a little bit more into the producing and into directing and things like that as well, and doing your own productions.
Right, yeah. You know, I remember one day asking Richard Lawson, I was like, man, I keep on playing these gangsters, man.
Right.
They keep on putting a gun in my hand. My friends back home are laughing their ass up because they know I'm a jokester. You know,
Exactly,
they're like,
right.
you with a gun? You were the last person in the crew with a gun.
Exactly.
You know, but now, you know, I got a gun in my hand in every scene. And he's like, well, are you booking them? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, keep on doing them. Keep on doing them until they let you do something else. And that's what I kept on doing. So I think it's just having that determination of, you know, I want to play some crazy schizophrenic, you know, guy. You know, I played a homeless guy one time. They actually offered me the role of one of the robbers in this one movie, Decisions. And I was like, but who's playing the homeless guy? They were like, you want to play the homeless guy? He's the guy who narrates the story, and in the end, he turns into an angel. I'm like, I want to play that guy. They were like, all right. So boom, I get the set. They make me look all homeless, dirt. I go to next door to the shopping center. I get a cart. I start putting different trash in it. And then I roll up on set. And the PA is like, excuse me, sir, we're filming a movie here. Could you go across the street? I was like, you got a quarter? He's like, sorry, I have no money. And so you want to take me off my block, and you ain't not going to give me no money to do it? You want me to make me move? I ain't moving. I'm here every day. You just here for the week. You know? Like, and he's like, we got a problem over here. There's a homeless guy and he won't move. And he's like, you idiot, that's our actor. That's Cisco. I was like, gotcha. Started going up to cars, like, you got a quarter?
I love it.
But yeah, no, just trying different things. And even when, like, the stuff that I write and produce, I want it all to be different. I just don't write comedy, or I write horror, I write thrillers, and I may not even be in it.
Right.
You know, I just want to write a good story, first and foremost. And then I was like, oh, that's a dope role. I want to play it.
Right.
You know, but, you know, writing and making movies just so I can act, I never did that. I just want to, because I just like the art,
Right.
you know, of making great film, great productions, great content, you know.
Sure.
So I like to keep it different.
Last question and take home. in dealing with downtimes and challenges, maybe it was COVID or things like that, what secrets, what recommendations would you give for people to experience that? Because we all do, professionally as well as personally.
Right. I think it's important to keep a positive circle around you. You know, the company you keep can have a lot to do with the way you think.
Right, yes.
Even when it comes to family members, I've had to like not answer the phone. You know, it's even some friends. They're like, "Man, I heard you from you in like 3 months." I'm like, "I ain't gonna lie, bro. Every morning you would just talk trash about the industry and how this and that, and by the time we got off the phone, I'm like, yeah, F Hollywood, man. Yeah, he's right, man. Shoot, they don't know what they missing out on. You know, I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
I need to change my way of thinking.
Right.
I gotta have more positive people around me.
Sure.
I gotta have, you know, just love on the positive people too, and then also just what you put out there is what you're gonna get. Like he was talking about with the food. It's like everything that you think is gonna manifest. And I feel like I'm a powerful manifester, so I gotta be careful of the different things that I think about. And like during the pandemic, I had my son, so that was a blessing, to be honest with you. Got to see him every day, just growing up, you know, just stuck in the house, watching and laughing at him, and you know, and now he's like he's like a mini me, you know.
With the talk and the swag.
Yeah, he got mad swag, boy. He can drop him off at school, and the little kids are like, Soul. His name is Soul, like the sun. And yeah, it's just that. And I've started meditating lately. Doing the 20-20-20, 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes in the sun, 20 minutes of exercise. You know, I mean, usually I do more than 20 minutes of exercise because go to the canyon, go hiking with the dog. You know, just having just positivity, enjoying what the stuff that God created. You know, taking that in, and it's gonna radiate through you.
Sure. Absolutely. Shameless plug, where can we find you and more about you? Love hearing all these stories.
Yes, across all platforms, Cisco Reyes, Cisco Reyes.
True. Yeah. Absolutely. A pleasure. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Cisco Reyes.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Sure, definitely.
Woo, 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 woo.
I told you the performance is coming.